Welcome to Studying the Home Study, a part of the By Choice community. This is part 2 in the series. Within the series, we're examining the home study and all of the individual components you need to assemble in order to complete the home study process and apply for an adoption. In part 2, we're taking a look at the reference list. The reference list is a key component to the home study. All the documentation you're going to provide, all of the information you're going to turn over, forms, medical waivers, the adoption questions, having the home visit in person, all of that is information you are providing. And in some cases, it's being verified or you are getting it notarized, but in most cases, it's all really coming from you. And in order to round out that information and have a better understanding of if you should be allowed to adopt, the agency or state taking you through the home study process will do so with a reference list required. References can range, so you might be asked for 3, you might be asked for 5, but generally you would be asked for references who have known you for a period of time and have hopefully seen you interact with children. The intent of the reference list is to provide information about you in support of your application. So you're going to want to be very thoughtful about who you get to provide your references. Typically, other couples who have children tend to be couples who would make good references. Family members, there is a component to the reference list request that says that you really should only have one family member. So go ahead and choose carefully, both to get someone who can really represent your adoption journey and where you are in that journey and can be in support of your application, but also someone who can represent you within your family. You don't necessarily want a very distant relative because you want to be able to show that you have the backing of your family in the adoption process. So you definitely want to get those out. You're going to have to follow up with people to make sure that the letter gets in, the reference letter, because you want to make sure that things are timely when they're being turned in as a part of the home study. You don't want to drag on for weeks with different components. You do want to make sure that there's always something every 2 or 3 weeks that's being turned in, and it's good to batch the information that you're turning in for the home study. So you'll want to get on the references to say, hey, how can we help you to complete it? Some tips in doing that is number 1, help them by providing the self-addressed envelope so that the only thing they have to worry about is completing the letter and signing it and getting it into an envelope that can then be sent directly to the agency. That'll be a huge help for them because this isn't their number 1 priority, right? They are doing this to help you and they are busy. And so you need to be able to work with them and their time schedules to get the references in. And even those little things like having the envelope that they can then be sent in through, it helps out tremendously. The other thing that you can do is provide guidance or pointers. So what I've read in some resources online is that you can really get down to providing a bulleted list of here are topics, here are high points, here are things that we would love for you to be able to talk about or mention. And that can help folks who are trying to do a reference to have the talking points that are going to hit the criteria you're looking for. What you don't want to do is write the letter for them. You definitely want the letter to be theirs. You want it to be authentic. You do not want to have them just sign a piece of paper, and you definitely do not want to just use their names. You want to make sure that the reference letter is coming from them and that they truly are in support of you in the adoption process, in the journey you're on. So definitely ask the right individuals to be references. Provide them with the self-addressed envelopes that get them to the agency, and you know, check in every once in a while to see if that reference letter has been received or by the agency, or if there's anything you can do to help that individual who you've chosen, the couple or individual you've chosen, to get that submitted. That's going to be huge to the overall process of getting that in. So that's the reference. That's the reference list. Make sure to like and subscribe down below, and we'll see you around for more parts of studying the home study.